Onigashima! I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jimmy, and today we have chapter 1143, God's Knights, which low-key, I actually thought we kind of had this title before, but I guess I'm just wrong.
I
Because
think it was like the Holy Knights before, and now they.
Oh, maybe it was the Holy
It's
Knights.
like
Now
a
they slightly
translation
changed.
error. Yeah, we got a cool color spread at the beginning, pretty sick.
Just
Got
a
some
little
nice
power scaling here in the cover spread. Notice who's number 2 and who's number 5. Ooh,
Damn. Yeah,
Sanji's not
true
even
that.
close to
Dude, that's
4.
actually I didn't even notice that, dude. They did them
It was
raw.
the first thing I noticed. No, but it's clearly
Nah,
just
it's
the
because of
order
the
in which
order
they
that,
joined
yeah,
in.
yeah. All right, well, we get into the chapter, and immediately we're back in with this God's Knights thing. After the break, we're back, and we get to see what their powers are. So I think I kind of jumped the gun on the last chapter, and I thought that maybe Summers was like doing some part of this, but you definitely called it like this is a different thing that we saw. It is the case that they're all using their powers in conjunction to get them, to accomplish.
Yeah,
their
we just
objective.
couldn't really tell what Summers's was.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this is kind of an interesting way to go about what I was saying before about how he kept mentioning, like, love this, love that. And he has a thorn fruit,
Like
which
roses,
is usually
yeah.
associated with, like, roses, which has, like, the imagery of, like, love. So
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty interesting. The fact that they're invisible is kind of, like, random, though.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
I feel like they would. I mean, maybe that's like a hockey thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Since when does hockey make things invisible? That's
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know. Maybe it's new. Maybe it's the new power they got. I feel like this guy is definitely gonna face Sanji with all the love stuff. And you know what would be great about that is that Sanji can't be hurt by thorns because he is a cyborg.
Made of metal, yeah,
So
that's true.
that'd be kind of a sick thing, and he would have to, pull out new tricks rather than just like the physical aspect of it.
Well, speaking of matchups, also then, because the other one that I thought might be kind of obvious in this arc is actually Usopp versus Killingam, because we got more details about his powers, and we were right before, right? Like he's manifesting people's like dreams slash nightmares, right? And we saw it to like a huge extent here, where he literally puts somebody to sleep, and just whatever they're thinking of, he can manifest and just like turn it into real. It's crazy
nuts ass
busted.
power. So this is like something that people think about like Luffy, right? Is that like people will put like Luffy against Goku sometimes just because like quote unquote like Luffy can do anything, and it's like I guess he can, but it's like now we have other characters like first of all Bonnie, which immediately kind of proved that there's multiple busted fruits in the world, and now we got Keelingam, or however you pronounce his name, Keelingam, I don't know, with the mythical dragon, or the mythical dragon Kirin, which I think is like a translation thing for Kirin. So I think it is the Kirin. I think we're right about that. And it's a dream materializing. He's a dream materializing man, so he can just like pull out anything. So we see like the salt. We see that we get like their perfect meals. Pretty OP. And
well,
he can
the
put
reason
people
I
to
was
sleep,
saying
so.
the reason I was saying he might go against Usopp is known for having these like wild imaginations, and he kind of like scares himself into like being like kind of a pussy half the time. So what if like he fights Killingam and we get to actually like personify what his fears are, and he has to quite literally overcome those fears, which in his mind over the years he's made up to be bigger than they are, until now where they're quite literally as big as he's always thought they've been.
True. I mean, we
So
kind
I
of
thought that could be a really cool matchup.
Sure. Yeah, we kind of called it last chapter for sure. Like, I think that Usopp definitely needs to be affected by this power. I think the story writes itself, And one thing that we also learned about these like things is that, albeit I think these were a bunch of drunk giants, but the skeleton thing like kind of just slapped the whole ship out of the sky and like one shot them almost, So
yeah, I mean that's just, again, we mentioned it last chapter. These things are fucking huge.
They're huge.
Like, so I want to know the limits of what Killingam can do with these powers.
Well, how big is like Usopp's thing gonna be?
Exactly. Like, is it only big because they were the dreams of the children who are giants, so they're imagining them to be big? Or can he just make them whatever size he wants? On top of that, how does he put people to sleep? I mean, clearly we see him using these, like, beams or rays or whatever. But is it because of their willpower? Like, Saint Summers would probably be like, oh, yeah, like, I don't care if you put me to sleep because I know you're not going to hurt me. But, like, if he tried to use this on Luffy, like, I don't necessarily know if it would work. Like, he could just... Well, maybe Luffy, because he's gullible. But, like, maybe not, like, Zoro or something, and just put him to sleep instantly. Like, maybe there's some kind of, like, willpower or like
Yeah, I mean the ones
resolve
that
that
we've
you can
seen
have to counter it.
right now are like people that are willing to get put to sleep, like they ask
Or
for it, or
children.
children. So like yeah,
Yeah. Not very strong
not
characters.
a great scaling thing. But you know we'll see. I'm sure like he's pretty strong in his own right, and it might be a scenario similar to like Saturn, where he starts to like actively push down Frankie and Sanji and them, but then they do get up and like do stuff afterwards. You know, albeit I guess that technically happens like after the Kuma punching thing, but I don't know. Like I have to go back and read that whole thing. But the last thing I want to
Yeah.
talk about with the Gods Knights here is Gunko. Very,
Yeah,
very
that's what I wanted to say also. Like, one, I feel like we're starting to get a little bit more personality from Gunko, who I thought was kind of like stoic and bland before, and now you actually see a little bit of emotion. I guess that's a little bit hard when her face is literally covered by everything.
yeah.
But you can tell she's kind of scared of a few things. We saw last chapter, she's like, I fear Nika. And now she's like, I see the Straw Hats. Like, that could be a problem. They're trouble.
Yeah, she's definitely like thinking ahead about it. I think it's interesting that you know they have them on the map. Like they're gonna, you know, they're gonna clash. Is there anybody on the Straw Hat like ship right now? Like, is there anybody on the Sunny?
I don't think so. It's not like last arc where Zoro kind of left behind. I think all of
they're
them
like
are
safe
off.
zone, like
partying.
we're partying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I wonder if they steal the Thousand Sunny. We always thought they were gonna steal Robin at some point, but what if they just steal the Thousand Sunny? They bring these kids over there and steal their ship instead.
That'd be crazy.
Because I mean, as of right now, they do need to get the kids off the island, like they said. But they don't. I mean, all of them teleported here, so they don't have their own ship.
You know,
How
that
else
would
they get
actually
them
be a
off?
crazy like Water 7 parallel.
Right?
Like,
To like steal their ship.
steal the ship, yeah, and instead of CP9,
It's a new way
the
of
God's
getting
Knights,
your crewmate back.
You know what I mean? Like it's just yeah. I think that'd be actually really sick. That's a good idea. Getting into like the next part of the chapter here, we cut to Loki, right, about to go berserk. I think we kind of called that. You know, he's kind of tapped out. Like Shamrock really did damage to him.
Gonna skip to the end here and just say fucking called it. We called it from the beginning. Like this guy, he's just an act. He's a bluffer. We all kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Some people started doubting, and I said, I'm like, nope. Oda always does this. He does something to make you think he's like what you originally thought isn't true, but it always is in the end.
No,
and we see it here. He's bluffing. He's standing on leg. He's trying to scare people out of it. And Harden almost falls for it. He's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean Harden, you know, I do like Harden as a character more at the end of this chapter. Like I feel like there's a reason why he's got probably like trust issues with Loki.
Oh, I mean, I'm not. I think it's fair, honestly.
But yeah, I think that like it's interesting that this kind of confirms this at the end here, where he's like, you don't really buy it, do you? Like it's like, is he lying? Is he not lying? But like this seems like a moment where it kind of confirms that like this is a moment where he's not lying. I don't know. That's what it's leading me to believe. Like if there's a switch up on us, I'll be surprised. But it does kind of seem that Harold was framed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Well, I mean that's the other thing. Like I think, like we said from the beginning, it's usually pretty safe to like believe in Luffy's intuitions. And this whole time, he's literally asking, "No, save this guy's life. Like we have stuff to talk about him with. Like he's not all bad." And like even though he's doing things that can be viewed as like scary and the wrong thing, is it really viewed like that? Because again, Luffy's been viewed like that before. Zoro's been viewed like that before.
Right.
Like it's nature of being a pirate. So
yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to mention also is we got a little bit more detail about his weapon Ragnar.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like the Thor like whatchamacallit,
hammer.
like all the theories and stuff. Like other people can't pick up his weapon. Only
Yeah.
he is capable of it. He didn't really say why in this chapter, but I'm guessing I don't know if it's like connected to his devil fruit or something.
Or it's some kind of like hockey attachment to it or something. I don't know. It kind of it reminds me of like Enma, right? Because like really nobody could wield it unless they were like strong enough. This is kind of a different sort of scenario. It's more like a sword in the stone kind of thing. But you know, it's cool to see. Like I feel like somebody's gonna be able to pick. I feel like Usopp's gonna be able to pick this thing up, and it
That'd
seems
be crazy because this thing's gigantic. Like it looks big for Loki. So if Usopp can pick this up, I mean, Usopp, one of his first weapons was using a really
hammer.
big fake hammer. So if he could somehow pick this up, that would be an insane feat, actually.
I think a lot of people kind of theorize that Usopp would get a hammer, and this kind of falls right in line with like what Usopp's power is, because like I think the hammer, this like lightning and fire thing, and clearly also to go quickly off note on that, we saw the burnt tree that Frankie had seen, and they were like, "Oh, lightning and fire." I had said NL. That's not happening. But this kind of confirms that like maybe Loki did it, or this hammer did it at least. I don't know if this was like passed down, whatever. It seems like a thing that could be passed down. Usopp would be
I
a
mean, we
natural
can
next
see
candidate.
in like the mini flashback panels that we have here, like he didn't have this when he was a kid. He had like the same kind of club and like kanabo that
Right.
Kaido had, to be honest. Which the other thing I wanted to make note of real quick about the flashback that I thought was interesting is his eyes are still covered there. Like I don't know why his eyes are covered, because I don't think he would have had like a devil fruit at this young of age, because I think he would have had it when he killed his father. But
Maybe he was
that's
born
why I thought
blind.
his eyes were covered here. It has something to do with his devil fruit. So I don't know if it's just
Could
like a choice that Oda made, like a design choice, and it means nothing in the end, or why he's really doing it. But
Maybe he's doing
I
it
thought
like
it
a
was
Rock
interesting that
Lee
he had it as a
thing where
kid.
he's like holding back. He's gonna
He's
use
holding.
sight.
Let me take off the bandages.
Yeah.
And he can see his opponent.
Bro, it'd be crazy. But like the hammer itself, like I feel like Usopp's always used like wacky weapons like that. It kind of reminds me of like Nami's climb attack in a way, where and
He
Usopp
does fuck
made
with
that.
the weather.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it could be in relation. I think it could be the weather itself that the weapon is kind of wielding. Like we do have precedent for that. I'm sure he's been doing it with hockey also, but yeah, we still don't know what Loki's devil fruit is. It seems like I think this is all the weapon.
I do too. I don't think him creating these lightning and fire is because of any special devil fruit. And if it is, I feel like there's more to it than just that. Because I feel like, I mean, we've seen lightning devil fruit, we've seen fire. Like,
Right.
while they're strong, they're not the craziest thing. And they were saying his devil fruit makes him like giga busted, basically.
Diego busted. Yeah, true. And he didn't do anything.
Those are the
Was it-
exact words Oda used, actually.
Really? Yeah.
Giga busted.
I mean, he does have the one shackle, so maybe the one shackle. I mean, in this state,
It was
at
holding him
least.
back that much.
Well, he fell down. You know, we'll see how it goes from here if they're gonna like report him. It seems like there might be some sort of like flashback coming up.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get something soon. This is usually how it goes in arcs, where they tease a little bit of a flashback at one point, then we do a little bit more in the current story, and then we
Yeah.
go into a big, deeper flashback.
Yeah, it's setting the precedent for the flashback, the big gray panels. You know.
Yeah, probably not within these next few chapters, because also usually it happens right before like the big emotional moments is when we get flashbacks. So I imagine not till we start like interacting more with the Gods Knights is when we're really gonna get it.
Yeah, like when the culmination of everything happens, like similar to Egghead. Dude, what's his name? Harold? He looks evil as hell in this flashback. I think.
I mean, he looked evil as hell before. I mean, people were
did.
comparing him to how he looked to like Kaido and stuff.
Yeah.
Was not a nice looking dude.
He's not
so
really a nice guy, yeah. So I don't think it's looking good.
it also looks like he kind of pit Harold and Loki against each other as
Yeah.
kids, because like we see the panel of him talking to
Judge.
them, and then we see the panel of like Loki kicking Haruden's ass also.
Yeah, that's messed up, dude. Like I think, but another thing I kind of think is like with all this trickster back and forth, like there's such an opportunity to like have some kind of big weird twist where like something that we believe isn't the case. Like Loki totally still has the opportunity in the story to like this could totally be a lie right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be a double take,
Maybe
right?
maybe
Like,
he really is
a lie
an
on a
evil
lie.
ass guy.
Maybe. One last thing I did want to mention, and I guess it's kind of minor, but how Gerd was like, it'll take several months for him to recover. Like,
Yeah, what the hell?
that's kind of a bitch move, to be honest.
But-
Like, it takes Luffy like a day if he just drinks some milk.
Drinks the
Like, can't
milk,
they just
dude,
give
yeah.
this guy some
Give him
milk?
some milk, dude. Well, you know what it kind of reminds me of is that at the beginning of the arc, we heard from Louis Arnaud like, "Don't stay here too long," and we haven't really heard the like why yet. I think we kind of assume like, oh, because it's a war-torn place full of giants or whatever. If he was writing back in the day, but there has to be. I still think there's some kind of like magical quality about this island, or like time passes differently. Like maybe like several months to them, and it is true because they live so long. Several months to them is like nothing in real time. But I wonder if like time is actually literally gonna be manipulated, and in like a day, because Luffy is here, like it'll feel like, oh, it just like went by. You know what I mean? And like the next day, he's like totally healed, just because of like the quality of the island.
Yeah, I still think that's a possibility, but I guess we'll have to see. I mean, we did see it when Shanks was leaving Elbaf before. He was like, I can't stay here long. I've spent too much time already.
Right.
And maybe that was an allusion to this.
Yeah. No, we haven't
So,
really gotten an answer to a lot of the big mysteries still. So, really cool chapter. I think, for me, 10 out of 10. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm giving 10 out of 10s too easy here, but.
I mean, it was a good chapter. I don't know about 10 out of 10. I'd say 8 or 9 at least, though, out of
All right.
10.
Yeah.
But really good.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
you know what does make it a little bit better and probably raises it half a point higher?
Say,
There's no break next
no
week.
break next week.
Fantastic.
And we'll be here to cover it. So please like, comment, subscribe if you guys like the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.